If you're a Civil 3D user, you can head to the Site tab, Coco Points and Survey Lines panel. The same panel is found on the Surfaces tab if you're using AutoCAD and BricsCAD. We're going to head to the Import Points pull down and choose Points by Polyline. In the form we have a couple of options for polyline selection. One is to use a layer containing polylines, or you can go ahead and select the polylines yourself, which is what we're going to do now. Pressing enter will complete the selection. If you need to repick, you can simply just click on this button again. Underneath we can then choose a code. So by default we will offer you LOT or LOT as the code. We do recommend that you stick with this because this means that all Coco points that you create with this particular code are added to a single point group. When it comes to looking at the vertical design, we will actually assign points found in a group to the vertical design. So it's important that you set this up with LOT for the moment. The start string number is really the first lot number that you'd be picking, so in this case it could be 10. It's not important that you get this number correct. You can also change it afterwards. We're going to go to the Elevations tab. The Elevations tab is where we control the elevations of our Coco points. Initially we can either set the elevation of all points to be a single elevation, in this case it would be 100, or use a surface. If you do happen to check the From Surface option, make sure that you pick a surface that covers the area where you are creating the points, regardless of whether or not you are using auto frontage. In this instance, I'm simply going to keep the single elevation option chosen. Then going to check auto frontage. Now this means that any points that are within 15 meters of the center line of my road will have elevations assigned from that design. To do this, I go to Set Up Dynamic Elevations, and then in the form I can go and choose the road and the code I want to use for the elevations. I use the reference string code option. The string we pick is road 1, as you can see that's already picked, and then we pick the code from our particular string here. So I'm going to be picking the left boundary code. We then have the option of adding or subtracting an elevation from that code, or using a grade. Now I'm actually going to be putting in a very small value here of 0.001. And the reason for that will become evident very shortly, because what this means is I'll be able to see the connection to the road from my Coco point just by having this small value assigned. When we use the auto frontage option, you'll notice that we're only able to pick one road. However, the software is intelligent enough to know that if it is within range of 2 roads, it will change the reference to that particular road. So the points on the frontage of lot 52 here are connected to road 1, whilst the points on the side here have automatically been assigned to road 3. And they're actually using the left boundary code. The ones at the front here are using the right boundary code. So when you are creating this, go ahead and pick really what is your master or main road through the project. If you've got multiple, don't worry, because the software will automatically go ahead and pick that appropriate road and code for you. I'm going to click Apply. That's the frontage points taken care of. If we wanted to assign elevations to points at the rear, we can do that by checking on the following box. The minimum distance value underneath states that if any points are found at the end of my polylines, down here, beyond 20 meters, then it will assign elevations from the frontage. So what I want to happen is for all points that are created at the rear here to be 5% above the points at the front. I can do this by typing in 5 in this cell. Bear in mind that all of this is editable afterwards, so this is the initial first pass. If I decide to change any of these values afterwards, I'm able to do this. We're going to click on Create Coco Points. You can see in the drawing I've now got Coco points being added to the vertices of my polylines. And to go back to something I was mentioning earlier about adding a very small grade value to the reference to the frontage, you can see why I've done that, because what this actually does is it just gives us a little reference showing the points of connection to the road, meaning that we can see where it's connected. The points at the rear also have something similar, but you can say that these are 5% from the points at the front. So what we've now got are points that are designed at the rear connected to points that are designed at the front being designed from the road. Let's now have a look how we can edit our points.